Hello everyone, it's Emma here from Eldenwood Craft with a look at the things that I've been making since my last video. I'm recording today on Saturday the 3rd of January 2026, so a very happy new year to you. I hope you had a fine festive time, a good December. I should have recorded this video back in November, but we had a lot of stuff going on, family stuff going on, which meant that November was kind of wiped out in terms of spare time to record. And then it was December and there were loads of vlogmases around and you all had loads of videos to watch. So I thought I would keep the next video until the beginning of January. So here we are. I tend to sort of go into my shell a bit in December. It's not my favourite time of year. I find it all a little bit noisy and too much going on. So I do tend to sort of retreat away a bit, hide away a bit, have a quiet December, and then emerge again in the new year like a butterfly out of its cocoon. So it's really good to be back. I filmed something for Instagram this morning. I'm here this afternoon doing my video. I've got lots of plans and things like that, some of which I'll share with you today. But mostly this is a look back at the things that I've been working on in the last sort of couple of months, really. I think if I have counted correctly, I've got 3 finished objects. I think that's right, yeah. And about 5 whips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. And I think I'll also have a little chat with you about what I'm hoping to achieve from my knitting over the next few months, what I'm hoping to achieve with Eldenwood Craft over the next few months, and also what I've been reading and a couple of nice things that have come my way in recent weeks. So let's crack on with the finished objects. Just check my notes. Yeah. So got 3 projects here. They have all been finished. Most of them have been finished quite some time. The most recent one off my needles, excuse me, oh, what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my Felix sweater, Felix pullover, patterned by Amy Christophers. You will no doubt recognise the sort of signature lace detailing at the raglan increases. I knit this maybe about 2 years ago now from Let Lopi, and it's definitely one of my most worn sweaters. I have worn it an awful lot over the winter, over December and November. Yeah, I really like it. I'd like to knit another one. This was my second one that I knit. I'd like to knit another one, but without the lace increases. I've seen, oh, who was it? I can't remember. Someone with a YouTube channel, and she has knit Felix with knit front backs instead of the lace detail, so a basic raglan sweater, but I have always thought it looked really nice and I'd like to give that a go. And I have got some more Let Lopi in a blue that I am hoping I'll be able, well, I'm hoping I've got enough of it to make another version of this. But yeah, I really like it. I can't remember the colour detail, the yarn colour, but I think all the details of it are on my Ravelry pages. And if you have anything in particular that you'd like to know about it, leave a comment below or drop me an email. That's probably the best thing to do. Right, so back to the finished objects. My most recent finished object is one that still needs blocking. I finished it over Christmas and I haven't got around to blocking it yet, so it's not going to look fantastic, I will admit, but it was a really interesting project to do, so I will talk about it briefly now, and next time I record I will show you the finished washed and blocked item, because I think it'll look a whole lot better. So here it is. It's a little scarf. If you remember from my last episode, maybe, I was in a bit of a small scarf obsessive period, and I still am. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this. It is the Mae Scarf by Ysolda. It's part of the Knitworthy collection, I think number 9 if I remember rightly, but the details will be in the description box below this video. But yeah, it's the Mae Scarf, knit from very, very deep stash yarn. This will be quite hard to, in fact, let me break it because I'm not going to keep it. Here's the yarn ball band. There we go. So I'm reading this backwards. Triskelion yarn and fibre in the Hama 4-ply, which is a BFL silk and cashmere base, 400 meters to 100 grams, and it's in the colour Ffestiniog. I don't think Triskelion yarn is dying either at the moment or anymore. I've not seen anything from them, and I did have a quick look at their website a while ago, and it seemed to be sort of all shut down, but I may be wrong about that. I'll put their details in the show notes in case you want to go and check them out. The yarn is absolutely beautiful. It's showing up a bit sort of brighter on my camera than it is in real life. It's a bit darker in real life, and the sort of very slight variegation that you can see is a lot more defined on the camera, but it's basically a tonal blue. It's looking almost purpley in the screen, but it's not. It's a very, well, I guess it is a bit. Anyway, it's a beautiful blue. It has a gorgeous halo. I don't know if you'll see it. Yeah, it's a bit difficult to see. It's soft as anything. It was a joy to knit with, and the lovely thing about this pattern is it's all knit in the round. So it's a side to side scarf. So you start at one end, you knit with increases, and then you start decreasing until you get to a certain number of stitches, and then you do a bind off. But instead of knitting flat, you knit it in the round, and you create a lovely sort of faux. I'm trying to show you the edge. It's a sort of faux I-cord edge. There we go. It's really pretty, very cleverly done, very easily done, but very effective. And if I can show you, I open it up, there you go, you can see that it's knit in the round. So there's no purling, which is a delight. Yeah, so I am looking forward to seeing how this blocks out, how it washes and blocks out, and if it works, then I can definitely see myself knitting more of these. I think this weighs about 92 grams. I had 106 grams in my skein, and I've got about 12, 13, 14 grams left. So that's my little nugget of leftover yarn. It's not going to focus. Anyway, it's blue, the same as that, and there's about 12 grams of it left. Yeah, so I could make it a little bit longer by yeah, just knitting a few more increases, but I was a little bit worried about running out of yarn because I didn't weigh my yarn before I started, which is something I never do, and I must remember when I'm knitting things like this, I must get better at weighing my yarn before I start, because that way you can make the most out of your yarn, Emma. So I will share more of this next time I record. As I said, it came from Ysolda's latest Knitworthy collection of patterns. I never buy collections of patterns like the Knitworthy collection, but I had seen this previewed on her Instagram feed, and I wanted to knit this. I think there were 2 or 3 patterns left in the whole Knitworthy collection that still had to be released. So if you're not aware, Ysolda releases a pattern every few weeks in the sort of run up to December. There's about 6 or 7 patterns in the collection, and I'm actually knitting one of the other ones at the moment, which I'll show you later on. And yeah, so I had a look at what else was in the collection of patterns, and I was quite intrigued by some of the other patterns. There's some mittens, there's a hat. So it's an accessories collection, most if not all of which are knit in a similar way to her Musselburgh pattern. So you choose your own gauge, you choose your own yarn, she gives you all the numbers that you need based on the gauge that you're getting with your needles, and yeah, you can make yourself a lovely collection of accessories. So that's the Mae Scarf. Really enjoyed making it. It's my favourite type of knitting. Round and round and round with a little bit of interest to give those I-cord effect edges. Lovely. My next finished object that I've got to show you, I'm only going to give you a very sneak preview because they're socks that I've knit for my husband Dennis, and he has been wearing them, and I have just pulled them out of his sock drawer to show you, and they are in a dreadful condition. The knitting is fine, it's just that he's put them back in his drawer and they're covered in fluff and dust and like little stickers and things like that. So I'm not going to show you the soles of the sock, but I will just show you the lovely yarn. So these are oops, I nearly showed you there. These are DK socks, knit from Drops Fiesta in the colourway sea green, I think 07 sea green, yeah. And I used numbers from the pattern by the Crazy Sock Lady, her DK weight vanilla sock pattern. I think I knit the largest size for Dennis's feet. I didn't enjoy knitting them that much. I prefer a fingering weight sock, I have come to realise. Yes, they went a little bit faster, but I didn't particularly like knitting at the tighter gauge that you need for socks in DK yarn. So I'm not sure how many more DK weight socks I will make. He really enjoys wearing them. He says they're lovely and warm on his feet. So we'll have to see how generous I am feeling next time I come to offer to make him some socks. Yeah, but yeah, so just a fine basic pair of DK weight socks. And my other finished item, I'll pop them on. These two have been worn by me, but they're in a much better condition. These are the Point Edward mitts, and it's a pattern by Fairlight Fibre, and I knit these because I needed some dog walking mitts now that it's cold. I have one pair of fingerless mittens that I wear and I have worn every winter for maybe about 5-6 years. They are the Everyday November mitts, fingering weight ribbed, knit from a self-striping yarn from Helen at Giddy Yarns, and they have held up so well. But for a few years now I've been saying to myself I must get myself some warmer fingerless mittens, and now that we've got a dog, I needed dog walking gloves. So I found these. I think they were a free pattern on Ravelry, and these are they. So they are knit from Drops Karisma in the colourway Sea Green Mix. I used 63 grams of yarn, so Karisma comes in 50 gram balls, so 63 grams of yarn. It's DK weight yarn. It's slightly more toothy than the Drops Fiesta, and I think I prefer the Karisma to the Fiesta. And these are basically mitts that you can turn down the tops when you need access to your fingers and hide your fingers when you don't. In retrospect, I could have gone a few more rounds with the 1x1 rib, but I can hide my fingers away. I can definitely see myself knitting more of these. They're really warm. The fit is lovely. It's a nice sort of tight fit around the hands. I have found I've knit 2 or 3 pairs of mittens, enclosed mittens, in recent years, and I've found that they've always just been a little bit too big for me, so the fit hasn't been great. But these are a perfect fit, and I really enjoy wearing them. They've got, they're really basic. They've got a long 1x1 cuff. They are knit in the round with a thumb gusset, and then at a certain point you start doing your 1x1 ribbing up here again. So I would knit another pair to cover my fingers fully, and then you pick up for the thumb, do a handful of rounds in plain stocking stitch, and then do some more 1x1 rib. Really lovely. Very pleased with these indeed. And I've been wearing them for 2 or 3 weeks most days, and you can see they're holding up quite nicely. Not bad for a cheap yarn. So all the details for those will be in the show notes underneath the video, and I will now get on with what I've currently got on my needles, and we're going to start with socks. Now, got one sock off the needles. Just pulling everything out. Yeah, there it is. One sock off the needles on my first pair of socks. Excuse me. Right, sock blocker. Obviously, as always, I'm very well prepared. Now, these are, I don't often go in for like seasonal festive yarn purchases, but I saw these this yarn from the Yarn Badger in her seasonal update. It's called Toasted. It's a fingering weight, self-striping, 75% superwash merino, 15% nylon and 10% Donna Neps. It was a sock set, so a full 100 gram skein and a 20 gram mini. There's the 100 gram skein, bit messy, but you get the idea. And that was the contrast yarn, and this is how they have knit up. Oh, they look lovely. You can see the tweedy neps in it, and I have simply done a 4x2 rib all the way from the cuff down to the heel flap. I did a slip stitch heel flap, heel turn, gusset decreases and a wedge toe I didn't change yarn. I didn't add in the contrast for the cuff or for the actually no, for this sock I started to do, I cast on with the contrast, but I'm not going to do that for the second sock. I don't think it needs it. And with the toe, you can see I got right to the end of the toe and then had to do two or a couple of rows in the white stripe, which looks a bit funny. Not much I could do about that though, and it doesn't bother me. So yeah, just a really simple ribbed sock. I do like a ribbed sock. I like a plain vanilla sock and a ribbed sock. Those are my two favourite types of socks to knit and to wear. I used 2.25mm needles, and I did a 60 stitch cast on, which is what I tend to... 60 stitches is what fits my foot best. I like quite a tight foot rather than a loosey-goosey flappy foot. That really irritates me. I can't wear socks like that. So yeah, happy with those. The one thing I would say is that my sock mojo is slightly absent at the moment, so I don't really feel a strong pull to cast on sock number 2 of these. What I should have done, which is what I often do, is cast both on at the same time and knit them concurrently. But maybe my sock mojo will return at some point. I do like them, and I am in need of some longer socks for the colder weather and for dog walking in particular. So we will see how we get on with that sock. Hopefully it'll be finished by the time I record again, but I wouldn't hold your breath. Now, the other sock I've got on my needles, I'm really enjoying this one actually, having just said that my sock mojo is slightly missing in action. So I'm knitting a shorty sock out of some yarn that it was balled up in my stash and I can't find the yarn label. I have a funny feeling that it's from Crafthouse Magic, and it's definitely a sock superwash merino nylon yarn. Here it is balled up, and I am knitting a shorty sock, a plain vanilla short sock, but it's from Ysolda's Knitworthy collection again, and it's called the Deep Shadow Heel sock. The thing with this sock is you just knit a plain vanilla sock, so I've done a 2x2 rib, about 30 rounds for the leg, and then you get into the clever stuff. So you knit a shadow wrap heel, or you start to knit a shadow wrap heel, but then, so a short row heel, but then when you come to resolve the stitches on the way back to join both sides of the heel together, kind of, you do some fancy stuff to give you extra stitches on your heel needle, and then, I hope this will show, you end up with stitches that need decreasing, and they form a gusset, much like the gusset that you get on a heel flap and gusset sock. So the idea behind these is you have a little bit more room in the ankle, so between the heel and your instep, so that's, you have a little bit more room and there's less stretch. So I really enjoyed the process of creating that heel and the gusset stitches. There's not quite as many gusset stitches as there are on a regular heel flap and gusset sock, so the time spent with extra stitches on your needle is probably not as long as it would be on a regular heel flap and gusset. Does that all make sense? Yeah, so I've really enjoyed making these. I'm now working down the foot. The pattern gives numbers for a range of different cast on numbers, but it gives the numbers for how to deal with the with the sock for a range of different cast on numbers. Didn't give it for 60 stitches. I could have worked it out myself, I'm sure, but what I did in the end was just cast on 64 stitches, and then on my foot I have decreased to 60 stitches, so I will have that nice tight fitting foot that I like. Yes, so there, it's coming up quite nicely. I'm finding less and less these days that I'm less drawn to variegated yarn. I have I don't know what the word is, but I have much simpler tastes, I think, in the yarn that I want to knit with, and the yarn that I want to wear. Socks, I will knit through some of my variegated yarns, but I'm thinking about having a de-stash for some of them. I'm less bothered about sort of the fancy yarns being on my feet. I'm happier for them to be down there, but I don't want them up here. Does that make sense? Yeah. So yeah, so I'm thinking about having a de-stash of some of my yarns at some point. It's finding the time to do it, really. Anyway, so that is the deep shadow heel sock. I believe that all the patterns from the Knitworthy collection are now available to purchase individually, so I'll try and find the details of those and leave links in the description box below the video. Okay, on to a couple of scarves. Now, if you've watched my podcasts, my videos before, you will have seen, you will have seen both of these before, but I am going to show you progress. The first one is the scarf that I was knitting using loom wool mini sets. Now, every month I subscribe to the Loom Wool Mini Club, and I've been using, I get 5 20-gram mini skeins each month, and I've been using those to knit into a scarf. I started it, gosh, last spring. It's been very slow progress, but that's just because I pick it up when I feel like I'm in need of just really simple plain round and round knitting. I will show you the latest instalment. This is the December instalment. They were posted out a couple of weeks ago, so if you haven't got yours and don't want to see, move forward about 20 seconds. I won't show them for very long, but here they are. So that's what you get each month, a lovely box, beautifully presented. Loom will always have a really lovely aesthetic. And I've got a nice collection of these actually now up here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes still to work through. Okay, that's the December box gone away. And I have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 minis so far. And I've got to the point in my scarf where I'm thinking I might be wanting to cast off. So this is what we have. I started, I think it was with March's minis, and went through April, and I'm currently on May. I think those are the months, and you can see that's what we've got for the whole scarf. Now the details of this scarf, there's no pattern. I cast on 90, I think. I did a 2x2 rib. I've currently got 89 stitches on my needle, so I must have knit 2 together at some point. But yeah, so I did the 2x2 rib, and then I'm knitting 30 rounds in each colour with 89 stitches. And I'm on 3.5mm needles. No, 3.25mm needles. And it's just a project that I'm really enjoying. This was exactly what I wanted. I wanted a sort of a colour block scarf in primarily tonal semi-solidy type yarns, and I wanted quite a short scarf that I could basically just tie like that and wear under my coat or around the house, and I kind of think we're there. So I might just use the next mini, which happily is very similar to the starting mini, to do the finished rib at the end. So yeah, I think I could have this off the needles very soon. Really like it. It's just really, I've said this before, I don't like a lot of fabric around my neck. I don't have hot flushes anymore, or rarely have a hot flush, but I do generally run quite warm, so I find a lot of stuff around my neck a little bit overwhelming and too warm inducing. So something like this and the small scarves that I like works perfectly. Yeah, really happy with this, and I think it looks lovely on the screen. Really happy. So I've got a load more of those. Well, I've got a few more. I've got 6 months more mini skeins to use, so I could use I could make another one. I've got some ideas with what to do with them that I will talk about shortly. And the other scarf that I've got on the go is another one that you've seen before, and one that I haven't touched for a long time. And when I took it out of my project bag to show you, when I was organising all my bits and pieces for the recording today, I picked this up and I thought, oh, why on earth have I not touched this? It's just beautiful. So this is a scarf, another colour block scarf that I'm knitting using Isaya 1, so Isaya alpaca 1. I've got a sample ball here. So Isaya alpaca 1, which is a 50-gram ball, and it's well, it will be, yeah, 100% alpaca. It's a lace weight yarn, and I'm holding it with Drops Kid Silk, and I think this might be the colour Moonshine. It's colour 44. So this fluffy yarn, Kid Silk, is being held double with the Isaya all the way through to give it a slightly mild effect on some colours, and that one it just blends in nicely with. I've got a number of options for further colours. I think I'm going to do 2 more blocks. I'm currently on this grey, and I think I'm going to use 2 out of these 3 to finish it off, but I'm not sure. I have got some other colours that I could. I've got one other colour that I could use. That lovely sort of greeny colour. There you go. Those are my options, and I shall basically just choose what feels right at the time. So yes, so the details of this, again, no pattern. I cast on, doesn't say how many I cast on. It feels like it might be about 100, something like that, 120. And I didn't do any ribbing at the bottom. I just wanted a rolled edge. And then just knitting in the round on 3.5mm needles, I believe. Yeah, 3.5mm needles, and it just creates the most luxurious feeling warm scarf. And I think that luxury feel comes definitely from the alpaca rather than from the mohair. This is a beautiful beautifully soft yarn. I love it, and I would like to knit everything in it, but I'm not knitting everything in lace weight yarn. But yeah, really lovely, and I'd like to get some more work done on that one. I don't envisage that one being finished until next winter though, so a nice long-term project. Let's put that down there, and that one. Okay. Oh, I have written down how many. 84 stitches I cast on apparently. Right, the final work in progress that I've got on the go at the moment is a sweater. Now, my daughter came to me last autumn with a picture that she'd seen on Pinterest of a sweater, and she wondered if I might be able to knit her something similar. And she showed it to me, and I recognised it instantly as the Olga Sweater by Petite Knit. And so her wish is my command. So I am making her the Olga Sweater. I am using the yarn that is recommended in the pattern. I will just show you that briefly. It's Sandnesgarn Peer Gynt in the colours 5591, which is Night Sky, it's a really deep blue, and 2512, which is Peer Gynt, Almond Tweed. Not wanting to focus. So yeah, that's them together. And so Peer Gynt is, try and organise my desk. Peer Gynt is 100% Norwegian wool. It is, what's the yardage on this? Gosh, I can't find the yardage. Strange. 91 metres for 91 metres per 50 grams, which makes it an Aran weight, 180 metres. Yeah, so it's a worsted to Aran weight. I'm using the needles suggested in the pattern, and this is how far I have got. So it's a drop shoulder, oversized, stripy number. Difficult to show because it's on small needles, and I have just, where am I? I'm just about to get my daughter to try it on, and hopefully then join in the round at the underarms. I had knit this all the way to the start of the ribbing at the bottom of the body, and what I should have done was ask my daughter to try it on before I'd got to there, because she tried it on and there wasn't enough space under her underarms. Is that your arm, Si? Yeah, there wasn't enough space there. She wanted it slightly larger, slightly more oversized. I'm knitting size 1, which fits her body, which is the size to suit her body measurements, but she wanted it slightly more oversized. So I ripped it all the way back to the yoke. I knit it a bit longer, and hopefully that's long enough. And if it is long enough, I'm going to add in a handful of stitches. I'm going to cast on a handful of extra stitches at the underarms, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that will be an appropriate sized body for her, the size that she wants. It's a very simple sweater to knit. You start with the back panel, you then cast on, or pick up stitches to cast on for either shoulder, knit the first part of the front, knit the second part of the front, join at the front, and knit the rest of the front panel. join in at the bottom, and then when we get to the sleeves I'll be picking up sleeves from the armholes and knitting sleeves. Beautiful feature of this is where the shoulder stitches are picked up from. I love sweaters that have this this join. I think it looks so smart, really lovely. So I'm enjoying knitting this. I haven't knit on it for probably about 6 weeks now, just because we haven't been able to find time to for my daughter to try it on, but hopefully that will change in the next week or so. The yarn is a real joy to knit with. There it is. There's the almond tweed balled up. It's lovely. I've heard this described as quite rustic. I do not find that at all. I find it very happy next to my skin. I find it quite soft. I don't find it rustic at all. So for me personally, this would be a yarn I would very happily wear in a jumper next to my skin. Yeah, really, really very pleased with it. So hopefully come the next episode there will be some good progress on that. Yeah, I think that's all I've got to say about that sweater. Okay, let's move on. So I was thinking about, it's the new year, plans, etc, etc. I don't make any resolutions, but I do like to think about, for my knitting, what do I need in my wardrobe over the next few months. And I have gone through sort of the different categories of things that I knit and come up with a sort of mini sort of plan. So socks, I mentioned earlier that I wasn't really feeling the sock mojo, but if I were to knit socks, and I probably will, because you know it's nice to have a sock on the go, it's a simple thing to pick up most of the time. I can see myself knitting some vanilla socks, some plain ribbed socks. If the deep shadow heel sock fits well, I can definitely see myself knitting some more of those. I'm also thinking about knitting some boot toppers. So I've got some, for our dog walks, I've got some ankle length sort of rubber welly boots, which are brilliant, but I don't have a huge amount of long socks because I just feel more comfortable in sort of shorter ankle length socks. And they're a bit redundant on a muddy dog walk, but if I were to knit some like leg warmer boot topper type things, then that would mean I could wear my shorter socks and have my my legs covered, or the gap between the boots and trousers covered. So I'm thinking about knitting some leg warmery, booty toppery type things. Sweaters, I would like to knit another couple of slipovers. I'd like to knit the what's her name, Nariko Ishikawa vest that has the neckline and the arm ribbing knit as you go, so there's no going to pick stitches up when you finish the body. I'd like to knit that. I'd like to knit another Stockholm slipover because I wear my one that I knit quite a few years ago now quite a lot. And I'd like just some simple raglans in some nice yarns. So those are my sweater wishes. Neck stuff, as I said, my obsession with small scarves continues. I have got such a long list of favourites written down for small scarves. I think the next one I'd like to try is the small fry scarf. I can't remember who designed it, but I'll pop a picture up on the screen. So I'd like to try that. I would also like to knit another small size Sophie scarf, and I have some yarn here that I would like to knit it in. So I ordered some cables from knit.co.uk recently. They had made a counting error and didn't have one of the cables that I wanted. interchangeable cables, Xiaogu spin cables. And so I said, okay, can I pay the difference and have a skein of yarn instead? And I ordered, or I asked her to, I gave the owner some options of the colours that I liked, and said, I'll just pick one for me. I'm very happy with it, with any of these. And so this is what arrived in the post. Perfect. And it's Cardiff cashmere. It's 100% cashmere. It's a 25-gram ball of absolute pure beautiful luxury. I've seen loads of people using this. I've seen sweaters knit out of this. Now this is not a cheap yarn. This 25-gram ball cost me £15. So if you're going to knit a sweater out of it, that is an exorbitant amount of money for a sweater, out of my price league. But I can definitely afford to make a nice small scarf with this. So I'm thinking I will make a small Sophie scarf or some other small scarf with this. So this, if you're interested, this is colourway 308. It did have a name on the knit.co.uk website, but I can't remember what that name was, but it's lovely. Colourway 308. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to using that. I've also been wearing, while I've been out dog walking, some regular cowls, and I quite fancy making some very simple stocking stitch, like neck warmers, because I've been wearing the ones that I've got a lot, and it's a good use of stash yarn. And the other thing I've been thinking of is my loom wool scarf that I've been making, this lovely stripy scarf. These are all the minis that I have used, but I've got about 10 grams of each left. So each stripe in my scarf takes about 10 grams of yarn. So from a 20-gram mini, I've got 10 grams left. And so I'm thinking about knitting these into a small striped scarf, either a side to side stripe, or a bottom to top stripe. And the bottom to top striped scarf that I'm particularly thinking about is by Kutavakika in my stripes era, and I'll pop a picture of it on the screen here so you can see what I'm talking about. I think that would work really nicely in those leftover yarns. So that's in my mind at the moment as well. Hats, I don't really need a hat at the moment. I've got a couple of Musselburghs that I use on rotation, green one and a brown one. If I were to find myself feeling like knitting a hat though, probably a Musselburgh is what I would make. But we'll see. And then hands, I would like to make another pair of the Point Edward mitts, as I mentioned earlier. So that's in my knitting plans for the next few months. We'll see if I stick to that, or whether these are not set in stone. These are just off the top of my head thoughts when I was having a cup of tea the other day. But if I get inspired by something else, if I feel like I want to knit a cardigan, for example, which actually I would like to do, but I have quite a barrier in my head to knitting cardigans, because I really don't fancy the long stretches of purl. I know I could do a steeped cardigan. I know I could do reverse knitting for the purl rows. We'll see. But yeah, I'm not set in stone with the what I've just been talking about. But yeah, it's given me something to think about. Well, the other thing is accessories. I've got a granny square, crochet granny square that's quite big. I knit it, well, crocheted it a few years ago, and I'm tempted to increase the size of it. I didn't put a border around the edge. I'm tempted to go back to that and increase the size of it to fit our bed. because we've started allowing the dog on our bed to sleep at night. Don't come at me, but it's lovely. But yeah, so I would like, we've got an old blanket down at the moment that he sleeps on, but I'd quite like something that looks a bit nicer, and I love the crochet granny square that I made, and so yeah, I might pick that up and add to it. I've definitely got minis that can go into it, so we'll see. That is it for my knitting. That was quite a lot, wasn't it? I'm just going to have a quick run through of what my plans are for work for the next 2 or 3 months. So January, if you're new here, I run Eldenwood Craft, so I am principally a project bag maker. This is one of mine. This was my winter project bag. Thank you, by the way, to everyone who ordered one of these, and I know that there are lots of you that have asked me if these are coming back. They're completely sold out at the moment, but I will be making some ready to ship bags, hopefully ready for the end of January. First couple of weeks of January I will be working on all my made to order project bags that are waiting to be finished. So if you've got a made to order bag and you're waiting for it, it will be sent out within the next couple of weeks, it should be. So then I'll be moving on to the winter fun bags, and then where are we? February, March, April, I will be working on both some new spring stock for project bags and also working on stock to take to the big flock, which I'm delighted to say I am vending at this year. So the big flock is a new knitting Fibre festival held in Bristol, run by the fabulous people at Bird Street Yarn. They had their first year last year. It was a resounding success by all accounts, and I'm really excited to be vending there this year. It's a lot to do. I am a maker who rarely has items in stock, so I can't just take my stock and put it on a stall table. I have to plan and make in advance. So I'm at the moment finalising fabrics for the project bags that I'm going to be taking. I'm finalising colours for a really small curated hand-dyed yarn collection, and I am working out some small accessories that I can include as well. So February, March, April, that will be my priority, but I will also have some spring stock as well to put in my shops and ready to ship. And then the big flock is in May, the middle of May. I'll put all the details in the description box below, and if you want tickets, they are on sale now. I will leave the link to those tickets as well in the description box, but you can get full details from the Bird Street team. And then we'll be into summer. Hurrah! Spring and summer. Oh, May, my favourite month of the year, by a long way. So yeah, so that's what's going on work-wise. And then the only other 2 things to say, I thought I would just share something I got for Christmas because it's craft related. I have been wanting to do needle felting for quite some time, and I recently discovered a YouTube channel. I watch a handful of sort of small business videos on YouTube, podcasters, and I'm fascinated by how other makers run their small business. And there's a lovely lady called Philippa who runs Felts by Philippa, and she has a brilliant video podcast channel where she does roughly a monthly upload showing her month in her business and what she's been making and what she's been making for pleasure as well. But she's a needle felter and she has an amazing business, and she's an incredibly talented needle felter. And so Christmas seemed like a great opportunity to give it a go, and so I asked for this. Excuse me. I asked for this for Christmas. So it's a needle felted couple of hairs, and Santa was very kind enough to bring it, and it's a lovely kit. I'm just going to open it up. I'm going to open it up and show you inside. So it's presented beautifully, and it comes with everything you need. Caution, needles to create your two needle felted hairs. So all the fibre, it's lovely. Even comes with needle guards, which I feel may be quite needed. Yeah, so loads, it feels like loads of lovely fibre. And the other thing to say, sorry, is that you get a ginormous set of, as you can see, fully photographed instructions, and I suspect that there might also be some video help as well. Yeah, so lovely kit. Not massively expensive, certainly within the budget of my daughter, who is the person that gave this to me for Christmas. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to having a go at that. And a little bit, I'm not scared, because I don't think you should ever be scared of these things, but a little bit apprehensive that I'm not going to be very good at it. But you just got to give it a go, haven't you? Yeah, I mean, who knows what I will make, or, you know, how it will turn out. If it can look anything like these two gorgeous hairs, I will be very happy. Okay, the very final thing I'm going to share today is just a quick run through of the books that I've enjoyed over the last, or since I last recorded. I won't go into detail terribly about too many of them, but I thought they're worth running through, because on the whole I've had a really good reading month for the last few weeks for the last couple of months. So I started off by listening to Sense and Sensibility on audiobook, narrated by Rosamund Pike. Brilliant narration, really enjoyed it. I'd read the book years and years ago. I could not remember the story, and yeah, it was a really good adaptation of that. Rosamund Pike was brilliant. I read, or started to read, The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Or I should say, I don't have any of the books in my room with me. They're all downstairs, or they're on Kindle or audio, so I'm just going to pop pictures up. Yeah, I started The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I just couldn't get on with it. I found myself disinterested in it, so I DNF'd that one. I then listened to This Is Happiness by Niall Williams, which was narrated by Dermot Crowley. I had never heard of Niall Williams before. He's an Irish author, and he writes about he writes about Irish small town life, I believe. Certainly that's what this book was about. Set in the 1950s, maybe 60s, but I think it's 50s, in a small town. Oh, I wish I could remember the name of the town, because it always makes me laugh, but I can't. It's something like Ha or something, but it's not that. I can't remember. But yeah, set, I think it was the 1950s, at the point that the electricity was coming to the village or town, and it's about the people in the town, the village, their lives. Not a lot happens, but a lot happens, if you know what I mean. It was brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I am keen to explore further the Niall Williams collection of books. I read The Land in Winter by Andrew Miller. Again, this was set in the early 1960s in the countryside just outside Bristol, so not a million miles away from me. and it's a very sort of claustrophobic book about primarily two couples who live close to each other on neighbouring properties, and what happens to them and their relationships as a big winter sort of deep freeze happens around them. I use the word claustrophobic, and it very much is a claustrophobic tale. I really enjoy that sort of story. Again, not much happens, but a lot happens. It's very much a character-driven book, and I really enjoyed it. I found myself picking the book up a lot. So yeah, that was a to be recommended. I then listened to The River is Waiting by Wally Lamb, and that was narrated by Jeremy Sisto. This is an Oprah recommended book, and I'd seen a lot of people talking about it on sort of BookTube and things like that. It's a long book. I think Wally Lamb's books tend to be long, although this is the first one I've read by him or listened to. Really well narrated. I enjoyed the narration. Something happens near the start of the book, and I can't remember the name of the main character. Corby. Something happens to Corby, and it's the events that so everything, his life basically unravels after this event, and you follow him through the years following said event. I don't want to give anything away. Quite dark in places, quite grim, but very page-turnery, if you know what I mean, for an audiobook. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I kind of enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars on my Goodreads. Yeah, I've been thinking about it a lot since I finished it. Not brilliant, but really good. And now I'm currently reading Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey, which is a book about, again, this is another claustrophobic book where the setting is really important. It's about some people who are living on, I forget the name of the island, but it's a fictional island based on Macquarie Island off the southern coast of, in between the southern coast of Australia and Antarctica. It's basically a research station, and this family are the only people still on that island, and then a body arrives, gets washed up, and it's what happens after that. Really thoroughly enjoying it. It's also had a lot of I've seen a lot of people on BookTube and Instagram talking about this, and I think it deserves the plaudits it gets. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And then finally, I'm about to start listening to Dear Life by Rachel Clark. Last February, March time, I think it was, I listened to her book, The Story of a Heart, which was shortlisted and won. I'm not sure if it won. Definitely shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Non-Fiction last year. It was a phenomenal book, and I've been keen to go back and read some more of her older works. And so I'm about to start Dear Life, and I will feed back on that next time I record. My battery light is flashing at me, so it's time to go. Thank you ever so much for watching to the end if you have got here. It's lovely to be back talking to you. I hope to be back. How often do I say this? But I have a feeling I will stick to it this time. I hope to be back on a more consistent basis now that we're over some of the family stuff. So I hope to be back more regularly than I have been in the last year. I hope you are well. I hope you've got some good making plans for the year. I hope you've got some good books on the go. Feel free to let me know what you're up to, what you've been working on, what you're reading, what you think I should be working on and reading too. And if you've got to the end, leave me a book emoji so I know that you made it all the way through this far. I will say goodbye, and I hope to see you very soon. Thank you ever so much for spending some time with me today, and I'll see you soon. Alright, bye.